A Bridezilla kicked me out of her wedding party because I'm pregnant and will be 7 months along on her wedding day. She said I'll ruin her photos and draw attention away from her. I'm her sister. She replaced me with someone she met 2 months ago who has the body type she wants. I'm 29F and still trying to process what just happened. My sister Vanessa is 26 and getting married in 4 months. I was supposed to be her maid of honor. Was. Past tense. Because apparently being pregnant makes me unqualified for the position. Let me back up. Vanessa got engaged to her fiancé Derek about a year ago. I was thrilled for her. They'd been dating for 3 years and he's a good guy. When she asked me to be her maid of honor, I cried happy tears. We've always been close, or at least I thought we were. I'm the older sister and we did everything together growing up. I was honored she wanted me by her side on her biggest day. The wedding planning started out normal. Vanessa had opinions about everything, but that's typical bride stuff. She wanted a lavender and gold color scheme, a garden venue, very Pinterest-worthy aesthetic. I went to every dress fitting, helped her pick centerpieces, addressed invitations, threw her an amazing bridal shower last month. I was doing everything a maid of honor is supposed to do. Then 6 weeks ago, I found out I was pregnant. My husband James and I have been trying for 2 years. We'd actually started looking into fertility treatments. So when I saw that positive test, I was over the moon. We waited until I was 8 weeks along to tell family, just to be safe. I told Vanessa at Sunday dinner at our parents' house. Everyone was so happy. Mom cried. Dad got all emotional. My brother gave me a huge hug. It was a really special moment. Vanessa's reaction was weird though. She smiled and said congratulations, but it didn't reach her eyes. She left early saying she had wedding stuff to take care of. I figured she was just stressed about the wedding and didn't think much of it. A few days later, she called me, said we needed to talk about the wedding timeline and my pregnancy. I thought she was going to ask if I needed to sit during the ceremony or something practical like that. Instead, she asked me how far along I'd be on her wedding day. I did the math. About 7 months. Maybe 28, 29 weeks. Long silence. Then, so you'll be really pregnant. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely be showing if that's what you're asking. Another pause. And you'll still fit in the bridesmaid dress? We'll probably need to order a larger size or get it altered, but yes, it should be fine. Lots of pregnant women are in wedding parties. She sighed. Like, heavily. I need to think about this. Think about what? Whether this is going to work. I laughed because I thought she was joking. Vanessa, I'm not backing out of your wedding because I'm pregnant. I'm not asking you to back out. I just need to consider all the options. That's when I realized she was serious. Options for what? For the wedding party aesthetic. I've spent a year planning this wedding. Everything is coordinated. The colors, the photos, the venue, all of it. I need to think about whether having a very pregnant bridesmaid fits with the vision. I was speechless. Finally, I said, I'm not a decoration, Vanessa. I'm your sister. I know that. But this is my wedding day. The one day that's supposed to be about me. And I need to think about whether I'm okay with everyone staring at your belly instead of me. I told her she was being ridiculous and hung up. I figured she'd cool off and realize how absurd she was being. 2 weeks went by. She didn't call. Didn't text. I reached out a few times and got short responses. Finally, I drove to her apartment to talk face to face. That conversation is burned into my brain. I asked her if we were okay. She said we were fine, but she'd made a decision about the wedding. She was removing me from the wedding party. Just like that. Removed. I asked why, and she gave me this whole speech about how she'd thought about it carefully and decided that having a heavily pregnant maid of honor would be too distracting. She said people would be looking at me instead of her. She said in all the photos, eyes would be drawn to my belly instead of to her as the bride. She said she needed her wedding party to look cohesive and that my pregnancy would throw off the whole aesthetic. I told her that was the most selfish thing I'd ever heard. She said I was being unsupportive of her big day. She said if I really loved her, I'd understand that her wedding needed to be perfect and that my condition would interfere with that. My condition. Like pregnancy is some kind of disease. I asked if I was still invited to the wedding as a guest. She said of course, but she'd prefer if I sat in the back and maybe wore something dark and loose-fitting so I wouldn't stand out in photos. I left without another word. Here's where it gets worse. 2 days after that conversation, I saw on Instagram that Vanessa had posted photos from a bridesmaid dress fitting. There was a new girl in the photos wearing the maid of honor dress. A girl I'd never seen before. I called my mom asking who this person was. Mom said it was Ashley, someone Vanessa had met at her gym a couple months ago. Apparently they'd hit it off and Vanessa had asked her to be the new maid of honor. She replaced me with someone she's known for 2 months. I looked at Ashley's Instagram. She's a fitness influencer. Thin, tall, conventionally attractive in that Instagram way. She fits Vanessa's aesthetic perfectly. That's what this was really about. Not about me being distracting. about me not looking the way Vanessa wanted in her photos. My mom tried to smooth things over, said Vanessa was just stressed and didn't mean it. I told Mom that if she didn't mean it, she wouldn't have already replaced me with a stranger. My brother called Vanessa and tore into her, told her she was being a horrible sister and that she should be ashamed of herself. Vanessa told him I was making this about me when it should be about her, and that everyone was ganging up on her during the most important time of her life. My dad tried to stay neutral at first, but eventually called Vanessa too. He told her that family comes before wedding aesthetics. She cried and said nobody understood the pressure she was under to have a perfect wedding. Derek, her fiancé, called me to apologize. He said he'd tried to talk Vanessa out of this, but she was dead set on it. He said he thought she was wrong, but that he had to support his future wife. I appreciated the apology, but it didn't change anything. The extended family found out. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. Opinion was split. Some people said it's Vanessa's wedding and she gets to make the choices she wants. Others said she was being horrible and that kicking out your pregnant sister is unforgivable. Vanessa posted on Facebook about how hurt she was that her family wasn't being supportive during her wedding planning. Didn't mention why people were upset with her, just made herself look like the victim. The comments from people who didn't know the full story were all supportive of her. It made me sick. I decided not to go to the wedding at all. I'm not sitting in the back in a dark tent dress, so I don't photobomb my sister's pictures. I'm not pretending this is okay. When I told Vanessa I wasn't coming, she had a meltdown. Called me selfish, said I was ruining her day on purpose, said I was making everything about my pregnancy. I told her she kicked me out of her wedding party for being pregnant, so yeah, it kind of is about that. She said I was being dramatic and that she'd offered to let me come as a guest. I said that wasn't good enough. She said I was proving her right about being attention-seeking. I hung up and blocked her number. My parents are devastated. They're still going to the wedding because it's their daughter's day, but Mom told Vanessa she's deeply disappointed in her. Dad told her that after the wedding is over, she needs to make this right with me or their relationship will never be the same. Vanessa's response was that after the wedding, once everyone sees how beautiful it is, they'll understand why she had to make tough choices. I'm due in February. Vanessa's wedding is in December. She's going to have a niece or nephew in 2 months, and she doesn't even seem to care. She hasn't asked about the pregnancy, hasn't asked about baby names, nothing. It's like she's written me off completely because I dared to get pregnant during her wedding year. James is furious. He wanted to confront Derek man-to-man, but I talked him out of it. It won't help. Vanessa has made her choice. What kills me is that I did everything right as her maid of honor. I threw her the bridal shower she wanted. I helped with every detail. I spent money on dresses and decorations and all of it. And the moment I became inconvenient to her vision, I was disposable. I keep thinking about future family events, holidays, birthdays, eventually my baby's milestones. Is Vanessa going to be weird about my kid? Is she going to resent my baby for ruining her wedding year? How do we come back from this? My friends have been amazing. They're all on my side and think Vanessa is being horrible. A few of them aren't going to the wedding anymore in solidarity with me, which I appreciate even though I told them they didn't have to do that. I'm hurt. I'm angry. And I'm heartbroken that my little sister, who I've loved and supported my whole life, thinks a photo aesthetic is more important than having me stand beside her on her wedding day. Update, 3 weeks later. Things have escalated in ways I didn't expect. People have been asking for an update, so here it is. First, more people have dropped out of Vanessa's wedding. Not just my friends, actual family members. My aunt and uncle aren't going. 3 of my cousins RSVP'd no. One of Derek's groomsmen stepped down and said he couldn't support a wedding where the bride kicked out her pregnant sister. Vanessa is spiraling. She's posting on social media about how hurt she is that people are abandoning her. She's still not acknowledging why people are upset, just playing the victim. The comments are starting to turn though. People are asking what happened, and some mutual friends have been honest about the situation. Vanessa tried to control the narrative by posting a long explanation on Facebook. She said that she'd made the difficult decision to restructure her wedding party due to unforeseen circumstances, and that some family members were being unsupportive of her choices. She made it sound like I'd volunteered to step down. My cousin Angela commented with the truth. You kicked your pregnant sister out of your wedding because you think she'll ruin your photos. Stop lying. The post got over 100 comments before Vanessa deleted it. But the damage was done. People had screenshots. Derek's mother called me to apologize. She said she was horrified when she found out what Vanessa had done and that she'd spoken to her son about it. She said Derek admitted he didn't agree with Vanessa's decision, but felt stuck between his future wife and doing the right thing. His mom told him that was a cowardly position and that she didn't raise him to go along with cruelty for the sake of keeping the peace. That apparently caused a huge fight between Derek and Vanessa. He told her she needed to apologize to me and reinstate me as maid of honor. She refused. She said if he didn't support her, maybe they needed to rethink the wedding. He backed down, which tells me everything I need to know about their marriage. Ashley, the replacement maid of honor, actually reached out to me. She sent me a DM on Instagram saying she'd had no idea I'd been kicked out when Vanessa asked her to be in the wedding. She said Vanessa had told her the original maid of honor had to drop out due to personal reasons. When she found out the truth from mutual gym friends, she was horrified. She said she considered stepping down, but that Vanessa had already paid for her dress and the wedding was too close. She apologized for being part of the situation and said she felt manipulated by Vanessa. I appreciated the message. It's not Ashley's fault. She's just another person Vanessa used as a prop for her perfect wedding vision. The bridal shower I threw for Vanessa, the one I spent weeks planning and over $1,000 on, Vanessa posted photos from it on Instagram with a caption thanking all her amazing friends for the beautiful shower. Didn't mention me once. I organized the whole thing and she erased me from the narrative completely. My mom finally reached her breaking point. She called Vanessa and told her that unless she apologized to me and made a genuine effort to repair our relationship, Mom wouldn't be coming to the wedding either. My dad backed her up. Vanessa accused them of choosing me over her. Mom said, I'm choosing basic human decency over Bridezilla behavior. If you can't see the difference, I've failed as a mother. That was 2 days ago. Vanessa hasn't spoken to our parents since. The wedding is in 3 months. Vanessa has lost a third of her guest list. Her relationship with her fiancé's family is strained. Her own parents might not come, all because she couldn't handle having a pregnant sister in her photos. People keep telling me I should be the bigger person and apologize to keep the peace. Apologize for what? For getting pregnant? For being hurt that my sister discarded me? I'm not apologizing. And I'm not going to that wedding. Meanwhile, my pregnancy is going great. I'm 15 weeks now, just found out I'm having a girl. James and I are thrilled. We've started decorating the nursery. My real friends threw me a surprise pregnancy announcement party last weekend, and it was perfect. My life is full of joy right now. Vanessa's is full of wedding drama of her own making. I know which I'd rather have. Update, 2 weeks after the wedding. The wedding happened. I didn't go. My parents ended up going after Vanessa had a complete breakdown and begged them to be there. They went, but they weren't happy about it. Here's what happened, according to various family members who attended. The wedding was beautiful. Vanessa got her perfect aesthetic. Ashley looked great in the maid of honor dress. All the photos were exactly what Vanessa wanted, coordinated, Pinterest perfect, nobody drawing attention away from the bride. But the atmosphere was weird. About 40% of the original guest list didn't show up. The venue looked empty. Derek's family was polite but cold to Vanessa. Several people who did attend made comments about my absence. During the reception, my Aunt Linda, my mom's sister, gave a speech. She wasn't supposed to. She wasn't part of the wedding party. But she stood up during the open mic portion of the toasts and said, I want to make a toast to family. Real family. The kind that shows up for each other no matter what. The kind that doesn't abandon each other over superficial things. The kind that values people over pictures. Vanessa, I hope you and Derek build that kind of family together, because that's the only kind that lasts. Then she sat down. The room was silent. People who knew the situation understood what she meant. Vanessa looked like she wanted to disappear. Derek's best man tried to follow that with a light-hearted toast, but the mood was already awkward. Then during dinner, one of Vanessa's bridesmaids apparently asked Ashley how long she and Vanessa had been friends. Ashley, who'd been drinking, said 2 months. I'm the replacement maid of honor. The original one got pregnant and didn't fit the aesthetic. This was said at a table with Derek's cousins and some college friends who didn't know the full story. It caused a whole scene. People started asking questions. The truth came out. Multiple people left early. Vanessa spent part of her reception in the bridal suite crying. Derek's mom apparently went in there and told her this was the consequence of her choices and that she needed to compose herself and get back to her guests. The photographer later told my mom, they have mutual friends, that it was the most tense wedding she'd ever shot. She said you could see in the photos that people weren't genuinely happy. She said the pictures were beautiful but soulless. Vanessa and Derek left for their honeymoon the next day. They went to Bali for 2 weeks. While they were gone, Vanessa started posting photos. Perfect beach pictures, gorgeous resort shots, romantic sunset photos. Everything was filtered and posed and looked like a travel magazine. The comments were mostly positive from people who didn't know the drama. But there were several comments asking where I was, why I wasn't in any wedding photos, whether everything was okay between us. Vanessa deleted those comments. She also posted a photo of her wedding party with a caption about how grateful she was for her true friends who supported her through everything. Again, several people commented asking about me. Again, she deleted them. They got back from the honeymoon 3 days ago. Vanessa texted me yesterday. First contact in almost 3 months. The text said, "I'm back from my honeymoon and I think we should talk. I want to move past all the drama and be sisters again. Can we meet for coffee?" No apology. No acknowledgement of what she did. Just move past the drama like this was some mutual disagreement instead of her kicking me out of her wedding for being pregnant. I didn't respond. James said I shouldn't give her the satisfaction. My mom said I should hear her out. My dad said it's my choice and he'll support whatever I decide. I thought about it for a day. Then I responded, "I'll meet with you when you're ready to apologize for what you did." Not, "I'm sorry you were hurt," or "I'm sorry there was drama." An actual apology that acknowledges you were wrong to kick me out of your wedding because I'm pregnant. Until then, there's nothing to talk about. She responded within minutes. "I did what I needed to do for my wedding. I'm not going to apologize for making my day special. If you can't get over it, that's your problem." I blocked her number after that. My mom called me in tears later. Vanessa had called her ranting about how I was being unreasonable and holding a grudge. Mom told her that she was the one being unreasonable and that until she genuinely apologized and meant it, our relationship would remain broken. Vanessa told Mom she was a terrible mother for not supporting both her daughters equally. Mom said she was supporting basic decency and that Vanessa needed to look in the mirror. They haven't spoken since. Derek's mother reached out to me through Facebook. She said she wanted to apologize on behalf of her family for Derek not standing up to Vanessa. She said she'd raised him better than that, and she was ashamed of how he'd handled the situation. She said she'd love to be part of my baby's life if I was open to it, and that just because her son and Vanessa made bad choices didn't mean we couldn't have a relationship. That was really touching. I told her I'd like that, and we're planning to meet for lunch next week. Here's where I am now. I'm 7 months pregnant. My baby girl is healthy and active. The nursery is almost done. I have amazing friends and a supportive husband. My parents are excited about being grandparents. Vanessa got her perfect wedding, her beautiful photos, her coordinated aesthetic, everything she wanted. But she doesn't have me. She doesn't have a relationship with her future niece. She doesn't have the support of half her family. She has a husband who won't stand up for what's right when it matters. She traded her sister for symmetry in photos. And she thinks I'm the one who should apologize. I'm done trying to have a relationship with someone who sees me as a decoration instead of a person. Someone who thinks pregnancy is an aesthetic problem. Someone who can't admit when they're wrong. My daughter will have plenty of family who love her. She doesn't need an aunt who resents her existence because it interfered with a wedding color scheme. That's where this ends for me. Vanessa made her choice. I'm making mine. Final update, 8 months later. This is my final update because everything has reached a clear conclusion, and I want to close this chapter completely. My daughter Sophia was born in February, right on schedule. She's perfect and healthy, and we're all completely in love with her. She's 6 months old now, and the best thing that ever happened to us. Vanessa didn't reach out when Sophia was born. Not a text, not a card, nothing. My parents sent her a birth announcement with photos. She never responded. However, she did post on Facebook around the same time about how she was focusing on her marriage and her new life, and didn't have energy for people who bring negativity into her life. Subtle. My mom finally had enough. She called Vanessa and told her that she had one more chance to apologize and meet her granddaughter, or Mom was done trying to maintain a relationship with her. Vanessa said she wouldn't apologize for making her wedding day perfect and that everyone needed to stop punishing her for having standards. Mom said, "Then I guess we're done here. I love you, but I can't have a relationship with someone who treats family this way and won't take accountability." Vanessa apparently started crying and saying Mom was choosing me over her. Mom said, "I'm choosing my granddaughter and basic human decency. You made a cruel choice and you refused to admit it was wrong. Until you can do that, I don't want to hear from you." They haven't spoken in 3 months. My dad backed Mom up completely. Vanessa is effectively estranged from our parents now. Derek's mother, Linda, has been wonderful. She comes over every week to visit Sophia. She's been more of a grandmother to my daughter than I expected, and I'm grateful for her presence in our lives. She's apologized repeatedly for her son's behavior and has said multiple times that she's ashamed he didn't stand up to Vanessa. Here's where things got really interesting. Derek and Vanessa's marriage is struggling. I heard this through Linda, who heard it from Derek. Apparently the wedding debt is crushing them. Vanessa spent way beyond their budget to get her perfect day. They're fighting about money constantly. Also, Derek's family has essentially iced Vanessa out. They're polite at family events, but nobody is close with her. Linda told me that at Derek's grandmother's birthday party, several relatives asked Derek how his pregnant sister-in-law was doing, not realizing I'd been kicked out of the wedding. When the truth came out, his grandmother apparently said, "You married that girl," right to his face. Vanessa found out through mutual friends that I'd had the baby. She called my mom and asked for photos. Mom said if she wanted to know her niece, she needed to apologize to me first. Vanessa said she'd think about it. 2 weeks later, she sent me an email. Not a text, an email, like this was a business transaction. It said, "I've been reflecting on the events surrounding my wedding and I realize that my choices may have hurt your feelings. That was not my intention. I was stressed about my wedding and made decisions that seemed right at the time. I hope we can move forward and be a family again. I'd like to meet my niece. May have hurt my feelings. Seemed right at the time. Not a real apology." I wrote back, "Until you can specifically acknowledge that kicking me out of your wedding because I was pregnant was wrong and apologize for that specific action without qualifications or excuses, I'm not interested in a relationship. My daughter doesn't need an aunt who can't take accountability for hurting her mother." She responded, "I can't believe you're keeping my niece from me over a wedding that happened months ago. You're being petty and vindictive." I reached out. I tried. "This is on you now." I blocked her email address. My brother, who I haven't mentioned much, finally told Vanessa exactly what he thought. He called her and said that she'd always been selfish, but kicking me out of her wedding was unforgivable. He said she'd lost him as a brother and that he wanted nothing to do with her until she genuinely changed as a person. She told him he was brainwashed by me. He said, "No, I just have eyes and a conscience." Last month, Vanessa showed up at my parents' house when she knew I'd be there for Sunday dinner. She was going to accidentally run into me and force a reconciliation. Linda had warned me this might happen. Derek had mentioned it to her, so I was prepared. When I saw her car, I left through the back door with Sophia and drove home. I texted my parents that I wasn't comfortable being ambushed and I'd see them another time. My dad went outside and told Vanessa to leave. She refused and tried to push past him into the house. He blocked her and said if she didn't leave, he'd call the police for trespassing. She left in tears. That was the last straw for my dad. He called her the next day and said that he and Mom had tried to remain neutral and give her chances to make things right, but her behavior was unacceptable. He said until she got professional help and genuinely apologized, they were done having a relationship with her. Vanessa sent a long text to our family group chat, which I'd left months ago, but my mom showed me, saying that we'd all turned against her, that she was the victim of a conspiracy, and that we were going to regret losing her when she made something of herself, and didn't need us anymore. My brother responded, "You lost us. We didn't lose you. Take some responsibility for once in your life." She left the group chat and hasn't contacted any of us since. Here's where I am now. Sophia is 6 months old and absolutely thriving. She's starting to laugh and grab things, and she's the light of our lives. My parents are obsessed with her. My brother visits constantly and is going to be an amazing uncle. Derek's mom, Linda, is a wonderful grandmother figure. James and I are stronger than ever. Parenting is exhausting but amazing. Our lives are full and happy. Vanessa got her perfect wedding and her aesthetic photos, but in the process, she lost her entire family. Her parents don't speak to her. Her siblings have cut her off. Her in-laws barely tolerate her. She has a marriage that's struggling under wedding debt and a husband who won't stand up for what's right. She made a choice. She decided that having coordinated wedding photos was more important than having her pregnant sister by her side. And when given multiple chances to apologize and make it right, she doubled down and insisted she'd done nothing wrong. Those were her choices. These are her consequences. My daughter will grow up knowing she has a family who loves her unconditionally. She'll have grandparents who show up for her, an uncle who adores her, a grandmother figure in Linda who chose to be part of her life even though she didn't have to. She'll also grow up knowing that her aunt valued a wedding aesthetic more than family. And when she's old enough to understand, that'll teach her an important lesson about what really matters in life. I don't hate Vanessa. I'm not even angry anymore. I just feel sad for her. She destroyed her family relationships over wedding photos. She can't admit she was wrong. She's isolated herself and blames everyone else. That's a lonely way to live. Meanwhile, I'm surrounded by people who love me and my daughter. People who showed up when it mattered. People who value relationships over appearances. I got the better end of this situation, and I didn't even have to do anything except refuse to apologize for being pregnant. Vanessa can keep her perfect wedding photos. I have everything that actually matters. And that's the end of this story. Vanessa chose a photo aesthetic over her family. Her family chose each other over her. She's alone now, and we're thriving without her.